Imagine being stranded in the wild, miles from safety, with only your wits to survive. One wrong move could cost you your life. What you do or don't do can be the difference between making it home and becoming another cautionary tale. Survival isn't about luck. It's about knowledge, preparation, and mindset. Every year, countless people make simple mistakes that turn deadly. In this video, we'll reveal the top 10 survival mistakes that can kill you and how to avoid them. Learn these lessons and give yourself the power to conquer the wild, no matter the challenge. Walking into a survival situation without preparation is like stepping into a storm blindfolded. You might make it through, but the odds are stacked against you from the very start. Many people underestimate the power of planning and overestimate their ability to wing it when danger strikes. Survival doesn't happen by chance. It is born from knowledge, foresight, and deliberate action. Understanding the environment you are entering is the first step. Every landscape has its hidden threats: treacherous terrain, sudden weather shifts, wild animals, or scarcity of water and food. Failing to research and anticipate these elements is a silent killer, one that can turn an exciting adventure into a life-threatening ordeal in a matter of hours. Before you even set foot outside, think about your route, the potential hazards, and the resources you will need to stay alive. A map in your hands is useless if you don't know how to read it or if you ignore the terrain's challenges. Carrying the right gear is equally critical. Too often, people treat a survival scenario like a casual hike, bringing only what feels convenient rather than what is essential. A sharp knife, a reliable fire starter, a way to purify water, and proper clothing are not luxuries, they are lifelines. Each item has a purpose, and leaving it behind can mean the difference between making it through the night and facing severe consequences. Preparation also extends to mental readiness. The mind is your greatest ally, and entering a situation unprepared mentally leaves you vulnerable to fear, hesitation, and poor decision-making. Mentally rehearsing possible scenarios, understanding what steps to take in emergencies, and developing problem-solving skills ahead of time will fortify you against the shock of unexpected danger. When you're mentally and physically ready, challenges become obstacles you can navigate rather than threats that overwhelm you. Another aspect of preparation that is often overlooked is knowledge of local resources. Water sources, edible plants, safe shelters, and natural signs of weather change can mean the difference between life and death. People who neglect this information walk into the wild with a blindfold on, relying solely on instinct, which can only carry them so far. Survival is not about improvisation alone. It is about combining instinct with knowledge and preparation to maximize your chances of success. Failing to do this is like going into battle without armor. You are exposed, vulnerable, and at the mercy of circumstances beyond your control. Even seasoned adventurers respect the environment and treat preparation as sacred. They know that confidence without competence is dangerous, and that underestimating the importance of preparation is a gamble you can't afford to lose. Preparation also means having a plan for contingencies. Emergencies are unpredictable by nature, and relying on luck or assuming you can handle anything on the fly is reckless. A survival mindset requires anticipating the worst while hoping for the best. Have multiple strategies for navigation, water, shelter, and signaling for help. Rehearse them in your mind or practice them in safe settings so that when the moment comes, your actions are instinctive and precise. Each decision made in a survival scenario carries weight, and being prepared ensures those decisions tilt in your favor rather than against you. Ultimately, preparation is not just about survival, it is about empowerment. Walking into the unknown fully equipped, informed, and mentally ready gives you control over your fate. It transforms fear into focus, uncertainty into strategy, and danger into a challenge you are capable of overcoming. Neglecting this preparation is one of the deadliest mistakes a person can make, because it turns the wild from a test of skill into a gamble with life itself. The power to survive begins long before the crisis hits. It starts with respect for the environment, knowledge of its dangers, and the discipline to prepare for every eventuality. Those who embrace preparation do not simply survive, they conquer the wild with confidence, resilience, and the unwavering belief that they can endure no matter what comes their way. Panic is the enemy of survival. When danger strikes, the human mind has a natural tendency to spiral, imagining the worst-case scenario and reacting before thinking. In moments like these, every rushed decision, every impulsive action can push you closer to harm instead of keeping you safe. It is one thing to face a physical challenge, but it is an entirely different battle to confront your own fear. Fear clouds judgment, steals clarity, and wastes precious energy that you will desperately need to endure. Those who succumb to panic often exhaust themselves chasing imaginary threats, overlooking practical solutions that could keep them alive. The first step in mastering survival is recognizing that panic is normal, it is instinct, but it must never be allowed to control your actions. Awareness is power. The instant you feel your heart racing and your thoughts spiraling, pause, breathe, ground yourself in the present. Survival is not about reacting, it is about responding with intention. Calm thinking becomes your greatest weapon when every second counts. In a crisis, slow down your thoughts as much as possible and assess the situation clearly. Ask yourself, what is the immediate danger? What resources do I have? What steps can I take right now to protect myself? A calm mind sees opportunity where panic sees only threat. It allows you to prioritize actions, conserve energy, and avoid mistakes that could escalate the situation. Panic is impulsive. It reacts before it reasons. Calmness is strategic. It reasons before it acts. Every survivor who has conquered extreme situations will tell you that those who panic rarely make it through, while those who remain composed, even when everything seems lost, often find a path to safety that was invisible in the chaos. Maintaining control over your emotions is as critical as managing your physical actions. Fear can be contagious, and if you are with others, your panic can spread, creating confusion and poor decisions for the entire group. Being the calm presence in a storm gives those around you confidence and clarity. Your mind is a tool, and like any tool, it works best when it is steady and focused. Training yourself to stay composed under pressure is not just a survival skill, it is a life skill. Techniques like controlled breathing, visualization of solutions, and mental rehearsals of potential scenarios are simple, yet incredibly effective ways to keep panic at bay. The more you practice calmness, the more instinctive it becomes in real emergencies. Another danger of panic is that it leads to wasted energy. When the body goes into a fight or flight overdrive without a clear purpose, your strength diminishes faster than the threats around you. Running blindly, shouting unnecessarily, or attempting to force a solution without a plan will leave you exhausted and vulnerable. Survival is not about fighting against nature or your circumstances blindly. It is about using your strength efficiently, acting with precision, and making calculated decisions that maximize your chances of staying alive. Panic short-circuits this process. Calmness preserves it. Ultimately, mastering your fear and controlling panic is about empowerment. When you can remain calm in the face of danger, you take control of the situation instead of allowing circumstances to control you. Your mind becomes your anchor, guiding your body and decisions through the storm. Fear is inevitable, but panic is optional. The wild will test your courage, but it rewards those who respond rather than react. Strength in survival comes not from ignoring fear, but from facing it with clarity, strategy, and unwavering focus. By mastering calm, you transform a life-threatening moment into a calculated challenge you are capable of overcoming. Water is life, and yet it is astonishing how often people underestimate its importance in a survival situation. Dehydration can strike faster than hunger, and without access to clean water, even the strongest, most determined survivor will quickly find their strength and judgment slipping away. Many mistakes in the wild happen not because of predators or terrain, but because of neglecting the most basic human need. Your body is a machine that requires hydration to function. Without it, your mind becomes foggy, your movement sluggish, and your decision-making dangerously impaired. Surviving in the wild isn't about brute force or endless energy. It's about maintaining your body's core functions, and water is the foundation of every step you take. Ignoring this essential element is one of the fastest ways to sabotage your chances of survival. Finding water isn't always easy, and in some environments it can seem almost impossible. Rivers and streams are obvious sources, but stagnant water can carry deadly bacteria or parasites. Snow and ice can be melted, but doing so requires fuel and patience. Understanding how to identify hidden water sources is a skill that can save your life. Even plants, dew, and natural collection points can provide hydration if you know how to safely use them. In survival situations, knowledge and observation are your greatest tools. Notice the signs of moisture, follow animal tracks that lead to water, and always assess the safety of what you find. Desperation leads to dangerous choices. A calm, informed approach ensures every sip you take strengthens rather than endangers you. Hydration is not only about finding water, but also about preserving it. Every action you take should be deliberate to avoid unnecessary water loss. Overexertion, sweating, and poor nutrition can accelerate dehydration, turning minor thirst into a life-threatening crisis. Even in cold climates, your body loses moisture faster than you might expect. Drinking small, steady amounts and balancing your activity with your water supply is crucial. Every decision, from how fast you move to when and how you eat, should consider your body's hydration needs. Survival is not about reckless endurance. It is about strategy, efficiency, and respecting the limits of your body. Another deadly mistake is assuming all water is safe. Contaminated water can introduce illness faster than dehydration itself. Knowing simple purification methods, boiling, filtering, or using purification tablets can be the difference between a setback and a disaster. Taking the time to make water safe is never wasted, and it demonstrates the discipline and foresight that separates those who survive from those who don't. Even a small misstep in this area can quickly spiral into a critical situation, highlighting the importance of preparation, knowledge, and patience. Ultimately, water represents more than just a physical necessity. It symbolizes the respect and awareness required to survive. A survivor who prioritizes hydration understands that every choice matters, that every ounce counts, and that respecting basic needs is the foundation of endurance. Survival isn't about ignoring weakness or pretending to be invincible. It's about acknowledging your body's needs and responding intelligently. Those who master water management in the wild gain not just life, but clarity, energy, and resilience. Dehydration is silent and unforgiving, but with knowledge, foresight, and discipline, it is entirely preventable. Every drop you secure strengthens your chance to survive, to think clearly, and to face the wild with unwavering determination. Many survivors make the critical mistake of underestimating the power of signaling for help. Too often people focus entirely on finding food, water, or shelter, forgetting that the simplest way to escape danger is to make themselves visible and heard. You could be just a few miles from safety, but if no one knows where you are, your chances of rescue diminish drastically with every passing hour. Survival is not just about enduring the wild, it's about giving yourself a fighting chance to be found. Nature does not discriminate. It tests everyone equally. But those who actively increase their visibility are the ones who tip the scales in their favor. A whistle, a reflective surface, or even a simple signal fire can bridge the gap between life and death, turning isolation into hope. The key is understanding that signaling is both a science and an art. Noise travels, but only when used deliberately. Light is powerful, but only when directed. A controlled signal can cut through the vast wilderness and attract attention where aimless shouting will not. Survivors learn to be strategic, using time and resources wisely to maximize their chances of being noticed. Even subtle techniques like arranging rocks in patterns, creating large symbols on open ground, or maintaining a smoke signal that contrasts with the environment can make the difference between remaining lost and being rescued. Every action should have purpose, because in the wild, wasted energy is dangerous and every second counts. Its signaling is also about mindset. The act of making yourself known requires courage and initiative. It is easy to feel defeated, thinking nobody will find you, but taking deliberate action shifts the power from despair to control. By signaling, you assert that you are still in the fight, still capable of taking steps to survive. Even if the signal isn't immediately answered, the act itself reinforces focus, determination, and the will to keep moving forward. In a survival scenario, the mind is just as important as the body. Maintaining hope and actively working toward rescue keeps your mind sharp, your energy steady, and your spirit unbroken. Another aspect of signaling that is often overlooked is persistence. A single attempt is rarely enough. Continuous, varied, and adaptive signaling increases the likelihood that someone will see or hear you. change locations if possible, vary the type of signals, and always keep an eye out for potential rescuers. In the wilderness, nothing is guaranteed, but consistent, intelligent effort ensures that you are doing everything in your power to turn the odds in your favor. This is the essence of survival: deliberate, informed action, coupled with unwavering determination. Ultimately, the power of signaling is a reflection of a survival mindset, proactive, strategic, and focused. It reminds you that survival is not just about enduring hardships, it is about creating opportunities to overcome them. By making yourself visible, audible, and undeniable, you take control of your destiny in a situation where so much feels beyond your grasp. The wilderness will challenge your resilience, patience, and ingenuity. But those who master the art of signaling maintain a lifeline to hope. They transform isolation into connection, danger into possibility, and despair into action. In survival, the world may seem vast and indifferent, but a well-placed signal reminds both nature and yourself that you are here and you will not be overlooked. Exposure is one of the silent killers in any survival situation. Many underestimate just how quickly the elements can turn deadly, even in climates that seem mild. Cold, heat, rain, wind, each has the power to break your body down faster than hunger or fatigue. Hypothermia, heat stroke, frostbite, and severe sunburn are not just minor inconveniences, they are life-threatening conditions that can spiral out of control if ignored. Survivors quickly learn that protection from the environment is not optional, it is essential. Building shelter, finding cover, or simply positioning yourself wisely in relation to the sun, wind, or rain can make the difference between life and death. The wilderness does not forgive carelessness, and exposure is relentless. Those who ignore it soon learn the hard way that survival is as much about defense against the elements as it is about seeking resources. A key aspect of surviving exposure is understanding the balance between body heat, moisture, and insulation. Wet clothing stills warmth rapidly, leaving the strongest individual vulnerable. Even a small layer of improvised insulation, a pile of leaves, branches, or even dry clothing, can create a critical barrier against the cold. Similarly, in hot environments, shielding your body from direct sunlight and staying cool is vital to maintaining energy and focus. Survival is never about comfort. It is about preserving your body's core functions. Ignoring these basic principles is a mistake that no amount of willpower can fully overcome. Nature will exploit any weakness, and the unprepared body quickly becomes the limiting factor. Another critical factor is the mental approach to exposure. It is easy to despair when temperatures drop, when rain soaks you through, or when the sun blazes overhead. But mental resilience transforms discomfort into manageable risk. A survivor who remains focused will constantly search for solutions, whether constructing a makeshift shelter, improvising clothing layers, or moving to a more protected area. This mindset shifts the narrative from suffering to action, from vulnerability to control. Every decision counts, and every effort to shield yourself from the elements reinforces both body and mind. Exposure is not merely physical, it is a test of endurance, creativity, and determination. Understanding the environment and using resources wisely is central to survival. Natural features like caves, overhangs, dense foliage, or tree cover can provide immediate protection. Even small adjustments like positioning a fire to block the wind or digging a shallow trench to avoid cold air can preserve energy and warmth. Simple awareness and adaptation dramatically increase your chances of surviving harsh conditions. Survivors treat every element as a puzzle to be solved, not an obstacle to be endured. It is this proactive approach combining knowledge, creativity, and observation that separates those who endure from those who fall victim to exposure. Ultimately, shelter and warmth are not luxuries, they are lifelines. Survival is not about ignoring discomfort or pretending you can endure everything unprepared. It is about respecting the environment, anticipating its dangers, and taking deliberate action to protect yourself. Every choice you make to shield your body from the elements strengthens your ability to think, move, and persist. Exposure tests not just the body, but the mind and spirit. Those who master it gain confidence, resilience, and a heightened awareness of their surroundings. They transform the wilderness from a relentless threat into a challenge they are capable of managing. In survival, protecting yourself from the elements is one of the most powerful ways to assert control, preserve life, and ensure that no matter how harsh the conditions, you remain in the fight. Overestimating your strength is one of the most common and most dangerous mistakes in survival situations. The human body is incredibly resilient, but it has limits, and pushing beyond those limits without careful planning can quickly turn determination into disaster. Many survivors make the error of thinking sheer willpower alone can overcome hunger, fatigue, injury, or harsh conditions. The truth is that survival is not about heroics or proving how far you can push yourself. It is about strategy, patience, and understanding your own physical and mental boundaries. Ignoring these limits can lead to exhaustion, mistakes, and injury, which in a wilderness scenario can escalate into life-threatening consequences. The key to survival is not how much you can endure in a burst of energy, but how wisely you manage that energy over time. Every action you take in the wild consumes resources, both physical and mental. Running blindly through rough terrain, lifting heavy objects without rest, or attempting overly ambitious solutions can drain your energy faster than you realize. When your body becomes depleted, your mind begins to falter. Poor judgment, slowed reflexes, and clouded thinking all follow exhaustion, leaving you vulnerable to accidents or missed opportunities. Survivors know that pacing is not weakness, it is tactical intelligence. Moving methodically, resting when necessary, and prioritizing tasks according to immediate needs allows you to conserve energy for the challenges that truly matter. Survival is a marathon, not a sprint, and recognizing your limits is essential to enduring until help arrives or until you reach safety. Respecting your body also means listening to its signals. Pain, dizziness, cramps, or shortness of breath are not inconveniences to be ignored. They are warnings that demand attention. Ignoring these signs in the belief that sheer determination can overcome physical limitations is a fatal mistake. Survival requires a combination of courage and humility. The courage to take decisive action when necessary, and the humility to recognize when restraint and careful pacing are required. Learning to balance these two forces is what separates those who endure from those who falter under pressure. Another dimension of overestimating strength is neglecting the mental impact of overexertion. Exhaustion doesn't only affect the body, it erodes focus, morale, and the will to continue. Every survivor knows that the mind is the most critical tool in a life-threatening situation. Protecting your mental stamina is as important as preserving your physical energy. By pacing yourself, prioritizing tasks, and setting realistic goals, you maintain clarity and resilience even under extreme conditions. Acting recklessly may offer short-term progress, but it comes at the cost of long-term survival. Ultimately, understanding your limits is an act of empowerment, not weakness. Survival is about efficiency, strategy, and respect for your own capabilities. Those who overestimate their strength risk turning courage into recklessness, effort into exhaustion, and determination into danger. Those who master pacing, energy management, and self-awareness gain endurance, focus, and the ability to respond intelligently to every challenge the wilderness presents. Survival is not a test of who can push the hardest. It is a test of who can endure the longest, think the clearest, and act with precision under pressure. By respecting your body and mind, you turn limitations into strengths, exhaustion into efficiency, and uncertainty into control. In the wild, knowing how far to push and when to conserve your energy is not just smart, it is the difference between life and death.